took my brother and the cancer took my daddy. That's a big empty space, but I'm still smiling happy. I'm evading poverty a couple times, it could've trapped me. $500,000 in the duffel till my little brothers match. The cops took my brother and the cancer took my daddy. That's a big empty space, but I'm still smiling happy. I'm evading poverty a couple times, it could've trapped me. $500,000 in the duffel till my little brothers match me. Niggas want a bucket crash, got no common sense. I've been smiling through the trauma, know this drama intense. I got tired of ducking crash, jumping mama fence. Could've been a superstar running back like Lynch. True religion, Farragamo, filthy in the trench. Money bags, popping tags, all at my expense. For a business, 2 Beamers balling through your rent. Ace got the fish bowl, Poppy got the tent. You got ink on your body, but you never spent. I was praying for my daddy, hope he heaven sent. Pay a lawyer for my brother, there's no evidence. How the fuck Donald Trump became the president? It be the law and elevation, sacrifice the geese. I know these niggas go against me cause I'm pressing peace. Sometimes I wanna catch a body temper on the lease. Y'all the ones that's really switching, acting like it's me. The cops took my brother and the cancer took my daddy. That's What's the good old big deal with the good old people? It's your boy Young and Hefe. Don't care about number what the check say. Make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe, because it don't cost you nothing to press that button. And if you ring that notification bell, I'm going to bring you mail. What's the good old big deal with the good old people? It's Hot Topics with your boy Young and Hefe, and I'm here to bring you another one like the other one. Today's segment of Hot Topics, we're going to be divvying off in the Big U. You already know it was yesterday's news. It's going to be today news as well on this channel as far as his bail hearing. So his bail hearing was set. He went to court, that initial arraignment. It looked like the bail was denied, that he was set to stay in jail. They did let some of the co-defendants out. You know what I'm saying? They let Trap Kitchen Monty out. I've been hearing some people say they let Brick Baby out. I don't know if that's true or if people trolling. What the case may be, I know the Trap Kitchen person out because I seen that truck driving around the town today. And we're going to get to that. But, however, as I was saying, we're going to divvy off into this. You know it's going crazy. It's for real world news, you can say. You know, they trying to basically, you know, paint this man out, you know, to be a beast, you know, gang leader, stuff like that. Trying to use things against him as far as the celebrity that's open to him, you know what I'm saying, his podcast channel and stuff like that. So it's just crazy, man, and that's how the feds gonna come at you, and that's how they gonna do things. So basically, you know, it's always been a lot of talk as far as what his association is with the grid program and stuff like that. So just based on the grid, you know what I'm saying, you also gonna have a grid worker coming speaking on his behalf and things like that, because they're trying to merge a lot of his personal and or legal businesses and legal aid that he's been getting. They trying to tie that in and say that he was running like a corrupted illegal operation, you know what I'm saying, and having certain liberties and or entities or organization funding his backing, as well as celebrities and stuff like that. It's a cold game and it's crazy out here, and you better pay attention to what's going on. It's the Hef way and the Hef effect, and we gonna commentate.
Afternoon, the alleged leader of the Rolling 60s Crips gang made his first appearance in federal court. In fact, we just got this sketch in from the courtroom. The judge ordered Eugene Henley Jr. to remain in federal custody at least until his detention hearing, which is now scheduled for March 31st. Henley turned himself in to federal agents yesterday. Investigators also looking into his charity and how he used donations and grant money. NBC4's Alex Rozier joins us live with reaction you will see for the first time only on 4. Alex.
Colin, Eugene Henley Jr.'s charity received millions of dollars in grant money from the city's GRID program. That's the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program. But the feds say his charity was a front for his criminal enterprise. And today we're hearing reaction from other grant recipients who reacted to this news. Eugene Henley Jr., known as Big U, is well known in the community.
This season 2 of Checking In.
On his podcast seen here on YouTube, he's been joined by celebrities like Nick Cannon.
I said, I grew up in a church.
And Snoop Dogg.
The big homie.
Yes, sir.
But Big U's also known for his nonprofit, Developing Options, that works to reduce gang violence.
They do tremendous work with youth, particularly around sports and gang intervention.
Dr. Robert Cicero runs Community Build, another organization that works on gang reduction, and he knows Big U.
Your experience with Big U has been positive.
Oh, absolutely positive.
And that's why he was stunned to learn of his arrest. The feds say Big U ran a criminal enterprise that committed a series of racketeering crimes, including extortion, human trafficking, fraud, and the 2021 murder of an aspiring rapper.
I was shocked to hear, but we're always shocked when we hear the initial news. And that's why I always tell people, hey, let's not rush to judgment.
The feds also said Henley Jr.'s charity was a front for his criminal enterprise.
Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes.
Court papers said Developing Options has received millions in grant money from the City of LA's Gang Reduction and Youth Prevention Program, known as GRID. Dr. Cicero's nonprofit is also a GRID grant recipient, and even after the arrest, he's a big believer in the program.
The GRID intervention and prevention employees across the spectrum of GRID agencies are really the silent heroes you don't know anything about or hear about. Several years ago, when murders in Los Angeles were at a high of 1,200 per year, that number's come down to, I think, just over a couple of hundred per year. And that's a direct result of us doing the type of work we do.
Not only does Dr. Cicero believe in the program, he still speaks highly of Big U's charity.
I am aware of the great work that they've done in their section of town.
But Developing Options leader is now in custody, facing the possibility of decades behind bars.
We just need to let the process take its place and see where it lands.
And as we mentioned, Henley appeared in federal court this afternoon and will remain in federal custody until at least his detention hearing scheduled for the end of the month. If convicted of these racketeering charges, he faces the possibility of 20 years in prison.
So there y'all have it right there. And there y'all see it right there. So basically, you already know it's big allegeds in the chat until this man is found guilty. Even if he is found guilty, don't mean he's guilty. You know what I'm saying? Because you still being judged in that courtroom and them people are still not your peers. However, so it looks like they're going to be using a lot of podcast channels to try to debunk a lot of things as well as create narratives. So you see how they using his own podcast against him. Oh, he had Nick Cannon on there. Oh, he had Snoop Dogg on there. You know what I'm saying? Then they bringing the GRID in here. So now we about to really see what's going on with this GRID situation. We know he was a recipient of the GRID. The feds basically is privy to this information, and how the feds gonna play it is how they play any other case that has anything to do with malice, drugs, prostitution, you know what I'm saying, murder. Definitely when murder come into play, that switch flicks the feds on go. They was investigating my case, the pill Oxycontin indictment, until the young lady on my case was murdered. It seemed like right after that, doors came crashing in. They started tripping. So, as I said, it's a lot of allegedly, you know what I'm saying, the murders, debates, and calling people murderers and saying that they kill people. That is a sensitive topic. That is real sensitive, and definitely to be putting on somebody that's fighting these charges and knowing they looking at these podcast channels. So, they said he was using that GRID money. They say he received millions and $1 million through GRID. Now, I don't know what GRID's supposed to mean. You know what I'm saying? They told y'all what GRID stand for. You know, I guess GRID's supposed to be the entity that's inside of these hoods in our communities that's decreasing gang violence. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a part of the GRID. You know what I'm saying? I don't get no pay from the GRID. You know what I'm saying? I've decreased a lot of things. Not that I'm looking for pay to decrease anything. But it is what it is. So, however, you know what I'm saying, being with the GRID, and they tying the GRID in there, and whatever any legal thing that he have going on, they trying to tie it till an illegal and legitimate operation to where they can snatch his money, froze that bank account. If that bank account already froze, you know what I'm saying, the feds play a whole lot of games. And you had a brother come out, you know what I'm saying, speaking as far as for Big U, like, man, I didn't see this coming, that ain't the brother I know, and stuff like that. This is what the grid stand for. We've been decreasing deaths in the community for years around these past 2 years. You know what I'm saying, this was the percentage, check into it, look into it, and stuff like that. So we know we about to see what's going to unfold. The bail was denied. We going to play some of the footage from the courtroom, you know what I'm saying, by way of Bomb First through Rick Rock TV. Bail was denied. Some of his co-defendants got out. As I've been saying, I don't know if this was a joke about Brick getting out, but I know Trap Kitchen is out. So we're going to go ahead and play the rest of this footage in our audio, and you already know it's the Hef way and the Hef effect. We're going to commentate.
Calling case 2:25 MJ 1494, United States of America versus Eugene Henley Jr. Counsel, please state your appearances for the record.
Paul, folks.
Okay, so Mr. Henley, as you know, we're here today because you've been charged by the United States with a felony through a document called a complaint. What I'm going to do is start by reviewing some of the documents I've received from you and your attorney. Then I'll have some questions for you, and then we'll talk about your case a little bit, okay? All right.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Targowski, I did receive a financial affidavit, but I understand that you are retained, so I'm going to just.
No. Part of the CJA panel and seeking appointment.
Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake.
I believe my client will be retained as private counsel. I've spoken to 2 private attorneys, so I would seek a provisional appointment.
No problem. Then let me review the financial affidavit. This is my mistake. We'll take a step back. Here's what I would say. I do think it's questionable, Mr. Henley, that you qualify for appointment of counsel at no cost. In spite of that, I will appoint Mr. Targowski here today from the CJA panel. Here's what I'm going to say. If it sounds like your plan is to retain counsel,
Yes, sir.
okay. If that doesn't happen, I'm just going to, Mr. Targowski, if you're not replaced by retained counsel in, let's say, 2 weeks, then I'm going to direct you to notify the court. And what I will do is I will require Mr. Henley to pay CJA rates. This essentially is a nominal rate that defendants who can afford to pay appointed counsel. It's basically like $170 an hour, which is far below what Mr. Targowski is worth. But it's something.
75.
All right, there you go. But really, if you have, for defendants who have the means to pay, so, but I'll go ahead with it. Up to 2 weeks will be free on the United States. Okay. Any questions about that?
No, sir.
All right. So the next document I'm going to review, Mr. Henley, is this advisement of defendant's statutory and constitutional rights. I'm holding up my copy of the document. This document describes your rights, Mr. Henley, as a criminal defendant under federal law and the United States Constitution. It looks like you signed this document on the second page. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before signing the document, did you read it or have it read to you?
Yes, sir.
And do you feel like you understand your rights?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me about what your rights are?
No, sir. Regarding the documents.
Okay, so that's inside that courtroom, that initial courtroom. You got the big U court date plastered in the background by way of Compton Rick Rock, so y'all can't really see in the courtroom, but I'm pretty sure y'all get the gist of what's going on. So in that federal courtroom, you're saying that arraignment, that first arraignment, just like any other court date, whether state or whatever the case may be, They in there explaining to him his rights. They reading the complaint to him. You know what I'm saying? It's not an indictment yet, but he's in custody before this indictment and or complaint is taken to the grand jury to try to be passed as an indictment. Now, with that being said, he's getting read his rights. He's being told what the complaint is, asking, do he understand? Can he comprehend? Also, a lot of people tell you when you go to the feds, don't pay for a lawyer and stuff like that. Oh man, a lawyer is a wasted money. Their conviction rate is this. They gonna get you, man. Don't waste your money on a lawyer. Save your money. So I don't know if this is one of them things to where Big U just like, man, look, I'm gonna just take a court appointed lawyer. And it's crazy because in some states, it's not like California in or Los Angeles to where you go and you automatically are appointed somebody to represent you as your attorney. Unless you hire and have your own attorney. In some states, like in Washington, if you go to jail and you making a certain income from a job, they're going to automatically make you pay for a lawyer. They're not going to give you a public defender. And if you don't want to pay for your lawyer based on the income that you make from working and them thinking you can pay for your own lawyer, then them giving you a court-appointed lawyer, you will be pro se and representing yourself. So it seems like they was telling Big U that basically they got to go through the process and appointing him a court appointed lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Unless he has the financial means to get him a paid lawyer. You know what I'm saying? If not, one will be appointed for you. You know what I'm saying? Then they start explaining something about a numeral system, about $175 a day and stuff like that. So that is just basically, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. So we're going to get into the rest of this audio in our court appearance. And you already know it's the halfway and the half effect. We're going to commentate.
He can give you confidential expert legal advice at any time. If you want to take a break and ask some questions, just let me know, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Tarkowski, do you agree that your client understands his rights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul, folks.
All right. So as I said, Mr. Henley, we're here because you've been charged through a document called a complaint. I'm holding up my copy of the complaint, pretty thick document. Have you and your attorney received a copy of this complaint, Mr. Henley?
Yes, sir, we have.
Have you had an opportunity to review that with your attorney?
Yes, sir, we have.
Do you have any questions about what the allegations against you are?
No, sir.
Do you understand what the government is accusing you of?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tarkowski, do you agree that your client understands the nature of the allegations against him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Henley, if you do have any questions in the future, I know you don't now, but if you have any in the future, you can always ask Mr. Tarkowski. And he has a copy of this, you have a copy of this, you can review it together, you can review it with at your leisure, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, because you are charged by complaint and have not been indicted by a grand jury, you're entitled to something called a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is a hearing at which the government would be required to present evidence to establish probable cause to support the charges against you. It's my understanding that you'd like to go forward and schedule a preliminary hearing. Is that right, Mr. Tarkowski?
That's correct. We're not.
Okay. So I will schedule a preliminary hearing in this case for April 3rd, 2025 at 11:30 a.m. That'll be in this courtroom before Judge Kaufman. I'm also going to schedule a post-indictment arraignment date for April 8th, 2025 at 11:30 a.m. Also in this courtroom, also before Judge Kaufman. Okay?
PIA.
Yeah. 11:30, April 8th, and then preliminary hearing is April 3rd. Same time, same courtroom, same time.
Okay, so this is real interesting right here. So a lot of people like it's a court date, but it's not a court date because he haven't been charged with anything, but they holding him. This is the type of juice the feds got and the authorities got. I have not been charged with nothing. It's a complaint against me. Based on this complaint against me, they can hold me in custody. His bail was denied. They denied bail, set the court date for April 3rd. Now, what I find fascinating and what I just dawned on me and had me like, what was that? I didn't know that you can be arrested on a complaint. And they can hold you in jail until they take it to the grand jury to see if the grand jury gonna indict it or not. Because in my federal case, they didn't do none of that. It was a complaint. When it was a complaint, we didn't know about it. They took that complaint right over to the grand jury, cashed that thing in on a full-scale first-round ticket indictment. And that's just how that happened. And they didn't take nobody to jail until the grand jury signed off on that and saying, oh yeah, this is conspiracy. This is what this situation is. He's not even charged with nothing and being held in custody. Can't even get out on bail, and he turned himself in, didn't run or nothing. And this is just a complaint. So it looked like the arraignment is going to be set for April 3rd. And I guess we got to look there and see if Big U is going to get out of jail. And it's just crazy. It's just like still messing my mind up that he haven't been charged. The grand jury ain't had a chance to sit down and deliberate on all these charges that's being read off and that they putting out here in the public. They doing big news conference, but I guess because they did a news conference, I guess they felt it was only right to go ahead and arrest them. It's a cold game out here. So, however, his bail was denied, but I know y'all remember the bulletin board with the mug shots. You know what I'm saying? Trap Kitchen Money, man. They say she out. She ain't made her way out. So let's get into this. And y'all already know it's the Hef way and the Hef effect. We gonna commentate.
Officials, Big U utilized this woman right here, Armani Afalash, who he was also intimate with. He utilized her to transport 304s across state lines.
A few moments later.
Y'all know I'm fresh out. First stop, wings and pie, you hear me?
Trap Kitchen out of jail, y'all. They just let Monty out. Monty is out of jail. Boy, that's her right there driving that thing. Let her out of jail. So that's one of the co-defendants that was also on the case, you know what I'm saying? If you out here in LA, but I mean, you know, Monty ain't been a lot of places, you know what I'm saying? That's Trap Kitchen, you know what I'm saying? Trap Kitchen been going crazy for a minute now, you know what I'm saying? But as y'all see, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Whatever Flacco and them said, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever he said, you know what I'm saying, about intimacy and all that, I don't know. But I know for sure she was on that case and she out, you know what I'm saying? It was just a complaint, so it wasn't even their full indictment, so they should have let Big U out on the ankle monitor too, Brick Baby out on the ankle monitor too, as well as Loose Cannon. For whatever reason, they holding all them in custody, whatever the case may be. But she is, in fact, out. They brought it to y'all, and I seen her today too as well. So we gonna conclude this there. It's your boy Young and Hefe. Don't care about number what the check say. Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe because it don't cost you nothing. Press that button, and if you ring that notification bell, I'm gonna bring you mail.
How you keep getting out of jail, nigga?